What if the greatest source of power isn't being the loudest person in the room, but being the calmest? In a world that rewards constant reaction, truly unstoppable women master something different. They master themselves. They don't allow circumstances to control their emotions, setbacks to define their worth, or other people's opinions to determine their direction. Their calm is not weakness. It is strength under control. It is confidence without the need for validation. And when a woman learns to remain calm while pursuing her purpose, she becomes nearly impossible to stop. Success rarely belongs to the person who reacts the fastest. More often, it belongs to the person who remains calm long enough to make the wisest decision. That is one of the greatest strengths an unstoppable woman develops. She understands that while she cannot control every situation that enters her life, she can always choose how she responds. This simple realization changes everything. Instead of allowing emotions to dictate her actions, she allows her values, her purpose, and her long-term vision to guide every decision she makes. Think about the moments in life that truly define a person. They are not usually the moments when everything is going well. They are the moments when plans fall apart, when people disappoint you, when opportunities disappear, or when fear begins to whisper that you are not enough. Anyone can remain positive when life is easy. The real measure of strength is whether you can remain composed when life becomes uncertain. Calm women understand that pressure reveals character. They know that every difficult situation presents two choices. One choice is to react immediately, allowing frustration, anger, fear, or disappointment to take control. The other is to pause, breathe, and ask, what is the best response that moves me closer to the person I want to become? That pause is where real power lives. Emotional control does not mean pretending that difficult feelings do not exist. It means recognizing those feelings without allowing them to become your leader. Fear may show up, but it does not make the decision. Anger may appear, but it does not choose the words you speak. Disappointment may be real, but it does not determine the direction of your future. An unstoppable woman acknowledges her emotions with honesty, while refusing to surrender her future to them. She understands that emotions are temporary, but the consequences of emotional decisions can last for years. One of the greatest misunderstandings about calm people is that they simply have easier lives. The truth is often the opposite. They experience stress, heartbreak, rejection, and uncertainty, just like everyone else. The difference is that they have trained themselves not to confuse emotion with truth. They know that feeling afraid does not necessarily mean they are in danger. Feeling uncertain does not mean they are incapable. Feeling criticized does not mean they have failed. Instead of accepting every emotion as reality, they examine it with curiosity and wisdom. This habit gives them clarity when others are overwhelmed by confusion. When you develop emotional mastery, you begin protecting something incredibly valuable, your energy. Every unnecessary argument, every impulsive response, every emotional battle drains the energy that could have been invested in building your future. Calm women become selective about where they place their attention. They realize that not every criticism deserves a response. Not every misunderstanding requires an explanation. Not every challenge demands an immediate reaction. Sometimes the strongest response is patience. Sometimes the wisest answer is silence. Sometimes the greatest victory is refusing to allow someone else's chaos to become your own. People often mistake calmness for weakness because they expect strength to be loud. But real strength is remarkably quiet. It is the confidence to stay grounded when others are losing control. It is the discipline to choose kindness instead of revenge, wisdom instead of impulse, and purpose instead of pride. A woman who has learned to master herself no longer needs to prove her strength to anyone, because her actions consistently speak louder than her emotions ever could. The beautiful thing about emotional control is that it grows stronger with practice. Every difficult conversation becomes an opportunity to respond with patience. Every setback becomes an opportunity to choose resilience. Every disappointment becomes another chance to remember that your circumstances do not define your character. Over time, these small choices become habits, and those habits shape a woman who is trusted, respected, and deeply confident. She becomes the kind of person others rely on during difficult times because her presence creates stability instead of panic. The world will always offer reasons to become frustrated, anxious, or discouraged. There will always be people who misunderstand you, moments that test your patience, and obstacles that challenge your confidence. But an unstoppable woman understands one truth above all else. The greatest victory she will ever achieve is not controlling the world around her. It is mastering the world within her. Once she learns that lesson, she becomes incredibly difficult to stop, because her greatest strength no longer depends on circumstances. It comes from a calm mind, a steady heart, and a purpose that remains unshaken no matter what life places in her path. One of the most powerful qualities an unstoppable woman possesses is clarity of purpose. She knows what truly matters to her, and because she knows where she is going, she is far less likely to be distracted by the noise around her. In today's world, distractions are everywhere. Social media constantly encourages comparison. Opinions come from every direction. Expectations from family, friends, and society often compete with our own desires. It is easy to spend years chasing goals that look impressive to others while feeling empty inside. But a calm woman understands that fulfillment does not come from meeting everyone else's expectations. It comes from living in alignment with her own values and purpose. Purpose acts like a compass. Imagine trying to sail across the ocean without one. Every change in the wind would push you in a different direction. Every storm would make you question your path. Every passing ship would tempt you to follow it instead. Eventually, you would become exhausted, not because the journey was impossible, but because you never truly knew where you were going. Many people live this way. They change direction every time someone criticizes them. They abandon their dreams because someone else succeeded faster. They doubt themselves because another person's life appears more exciting. Without purpose, every opinion feels important. Every obstacle feels permanent. An unstoppable woman refuses to live that way. She takes the time to understand what gives her life meaning. She asks herself difficult questions. What kind of person do I want to become? What values do I refuse to compromise? What legacy do I want to leave behind? What impact do I hope to have on the people around me? These questions may not produce instant answers, but they create a foundation that is stronger than temporary emotions or passing trends. Once she discovers her direction, she begins making decisions that support it, rather than decisions that simply make her comfortable. Purpose also changes the way challenges are viewed. When your vision is clear, obstacles stop looking like roadblocks and start looking like part of the journey. Every meaningful goal requires sacrifice. There will be moments of rejection, disappointment, failure, and uncertainty. Without purpose, these moments often convince people to quit. But when you know why you started, quitting becomes much harder. Your reason becomes bigger than your fear. Your vision becomes stronger than your discomfort. You no longer ask, is this difficult? Instead, you ask, is this worth it? And if the answer is yes, you continue moving forward. This does not mean an unstoppable woman never feels discouraged. She certainly does. There are days when progress seems invisible and motivation feels distant. There are moments when she questions whether her effort is making any difference. The difference is that she has learned not to depend entirely on motivation. Motivation comes and goes. Purpose remains. On the days when excitement disappears, purpose reminds her why she began. On the days when confidence feels weak, purpose gives her a reason to take the next step anyway. She understands that consistency is far more powerful than temporary inspiration. Another remarkable effect of purpose is that it makes comparison less appealing. Comparison steals joy because it shifts your attention away from your own journey. There will always be someone who appears more successful, more talented, or further ahead. If your identity depends on outperforming others, you will never feel at peace. A calm woman measures her progress differently. She compares herself to the person she was yesterday, not to the people she sees online or across the room. Her goal is continuous growth, not constant competition. This mindset allows her to celebrate the success of others without feeling threatened by it. Purpose also strengthens decision-making. Opportunities will come that look attractive on the surface, but lead away from what truly matters. Calm women understand that saying yes to everything often means saying no to what is most important. They are willing to decline opportunities, relationships, and commitments that do not align with their values. This requires courage because not everyone will understand their choices. But they have learned that pleasing everyone is impossible, while remaining true to themselves is essential. Perhaps the greatest gift of purpose is the peace it creates. When you know why you are doing what you do, you stop needing constant approval. You stop chasing validation from people who do not share your vision. You become less concerned with proving yourself and more focused on improving yourself. Your confidence becomes quieter, deeper, and more lasting because it is rooted in something that cannot be taken away by criticism or temporary failure. The world will always try to pull your attention in 100 different directions. It will encourage you to chase popularity instead of purpose, comfort instead of growth, and approval instead of authenticity. But the woman who remains calm remembers that every meaningful life begins with a meaningful reason. She does not allow distractions to determine her destination. She chooses her path with intention, walks it with patience, and trusts that every consistent step brings her closer to becoming the woman she was created to be. That is why she is unstoppable, not because the journey is easy, but because her purpose is stronger than every obstacle that stands in her way. Confidence is often misunderstood. Many people believe it is something you are born with, a natural gift that belongs only to a fortunate few. They assume confident women have never experienced fear, self-doubt, or failure. But the truth is far more encouraging. Confidence is not a personality trait, it is a habit. It is built through action, strengthened by consistency, and reinforced every time you keep a promise to yourself. The most unstoppable women do not wait until they feel confident before they act. They act consistently, and confidence follows. Think about any skill you admire, whether it is public speaking, leading a team, starting a business, or mastering a craft. No one begins as an expert. Every successful person starts as a beginner. The difference is that some people allow the discomfort of being inexperienced to stop them, while others accept it as part of the journey. Calm women understand this principle. They are not afraid of looking imperfect because they know that perfection is never the goal. Progress is. One of the greatest obstacles to confidence is the belief that everything must be perfect before taking the first step. People tell themselves they need more knowledge, more experience, more money, or more certainty. They continue preparing long after they are ready because waiting feels safer than risking failure. But every day spent waiting is another day spent doubting yourself. An unstoppable woman recognizes that clarity often comes after action, not before it. She understands that courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move forward despite it. Every small promise you keep to yourself becomes evidence that you can trust yourself. If you decide to wake up early and you do it, your confidence grows. If you commit to reading every day, exercising consistently, learning a new skill, or finishing an important project, every completed action sends your mind the same message. I can rely on myself. Over time, these small victories become the foundation of genuine confidence. It is no longer based on compliments or achievements alone. It is based on self-trust. This kind of confidence is remarkably different from arrogance. Arrogance depends on proving superiority over others. Confidence has no such need. A truly confident woman does not compare herself with everyone around her because her greatest competition is the person she was yesterday. She celebrates the success of others because she knows another person's great. Victory does not diminish her own potential. She understands there is enough opportunity, enough growth, and enough purpose for everyone who is willing to pursue it with dedication. Consistency is the bridge between dreams and reality. Motivation is exciting, but it is temporary. There will always be days when enthusiasm disappears. There will be mornings when getting out of bed feels difficult, moments when progress seems invisible, and seasons when success feels impossibly far away. During those times, discipline becomes more valuable than inspiration. Calm women understand that showing up on ordinary days matters just as much as performing well on extraordinary ones. Their daily habits create extraordinary lives because they refuse to let temporary emotions decide whether they will continue. Failure also plays a surprising role in building confidence. Many people believe confidence comes from never failing, but the opposite is often true. Every challenge overcome, every mistake corrected, and every setback survived becomes proof that you are stronger than you once believed. An unstoppable woman does not fear failure because she understands it is a teacher rather than an enemy. She asks herself what she can learn instead of dwelling on what went wrong. With each lesson, her confidence becomes deeper because it is built on experience rather than wishful thinking. Another important characteristic of confident women is that they stop seeking constant validation. They appreciate encouragement, but they no longer depend on it. They know that if their self-worth rises and falls with other people's opinions, they will spend their entire lives chasing approval. Instead, they focus on living according to their values. They allow their actions to speak louder than their words. Quiet consistency becomes more important than public recognition. Confidence also changes the way a woman carries herself. She listens more than she argues. She remains calm during criticism because she knows not every opinion deserves a response. She is willing to admit when she is wrong because she understands that learning is a sign of strength, not weakness. She is patient with her growth because she realizes meaningful transformation takes time. Rather than rushing to impress others, she commits to becoming someone she genuinely respects. The remarkable thing about confidence built through consistent action is that no one can give it to you and no one can take it away. It is earned through countless moments when you choose discipline over excuses, courage over comfort, and growth over fear. Every step forward, no matter how small, reinforces the belief that you are capable of more than you imagined. Over time, those small steps become a journey of remarkable transformation. An unstoppable woman understands that the strongest confidence does not come from hearing, "You can do it." It comes from looking back at everything she has already overcome and realizing, "I did it before, and I can do it again." That quiet certainty becomes her greatest strength. It allows her to face uncertainty without panic, challenges without fear, and opportunities without hesitation. She becomes unstoppable not because she never doubts herself, but because she has built a lifetime of evidence that she can trust herself to keep moving forward, one consistent action at a time. Every meaningful life includes moments that test our strength. There is no path to becoming unstoppable that avoids disappointment, setbacks, or failure. The difference is not found in who experiences challenges, because everyone does. The difference is found in how those challenges are interpreted. Some people see obstacles as signs to stop. Others see them as opportunities to grow. Calm women belong to the second group. They understand that every difficult season carries a lesson, and every lesson has the potential to shape a stronger, wiser, and more resilient version of themselves. It is natural to want life to be easy. We hope our plans will work exactly as expected, our relationships will always be peaceful, and our efforts will be rewarded immediately. But life rarely follows the script we write for it. Careers take unexpected turns. Friendships change. Dreams require more time than we imagined. There are moments when everything feels uncertain, and it is tempting to believe that the struggle means we are moving in the wrong direction. Yet some of the greatest breakthroughs happen only because someone refused to give up during their hardest season. A calm woman understands that adversity has a unique way of revealing character. When everything is comfortable, it is easy to believe we are patient, courageous, or resilient. Those qualities become real only when they are tested. Patience grows while waiting. Courage grows while facing fear. Resilience grows while recovering from disappointment. Without challenges, these qualities remain ideas rather than strengths. Difficult experiences become the training ground where character is developed. One of the most powerful habits an unstoppable woman develops is changing the questions she asks herself. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" she asks, "What can this experience teach me?" That simple shift transforms frustration into curiosity. It allows her to focus on growth instead of blame. She stops wasting energy wishing the situation were different and begins looking for the blame, opportunity hidden inside it. Every challenge contains a lesson, but only those who are willing to learn will discover it. Failure often carries a painful reputation, yet it is one of life's greatest teachers. Every successful person has experienced moments when things did not go according to plan. Businesses fail before they succeed. Leaders make mistakes before they gain wisdom. Athletes lose competitions before they become champions. The common thread is not perfection, it is persistence. Calm women understand that failure is not a permanent identity. It is temporary feedback. It shows what needs to improve, where new skills must be developed, and how future decisions can become wiser. Instead of allowing failure to define them, they allow it to refine them. Growth also requires letting go of the need for certainty. We often want guarantees before taking the next step. We want proof that our effort will succeed before we commit to the journey. But life offers very few guarantees. Progress requires faith in the process. Calm women accept that uncertainty is not the enemy of success. It is often the environment where success is created. They continue learning, adapting, and improving even when the outcome remains unclear, because they understand that growth rarely happens inside a comfort zone. Another important lesson challenges teach is humility. Success can sometimes create the illusion that we have everything under control. Difficult seasons remind us that there is always more to learn. They encourage us to listen more carefully, seek wise advice, and remain open to change. An unstoppable woman does not see learning as a sign of weakness. She sees it as evidence that she is committed to becoming better. Her willingness to grow becomes one of her greatest advantages. Challenges also develop compassion. Someone who has overcome hardship often becomes more understanding of the struggles others face. Instead of judging people for their weaknesses, she recognizes that everyone is carrying battles that may not be visible. Her own experiences teach her patience, empathy, and kindness. As she becomes stronger, she also becomes more capable of encouraging those who are walking through similar difficulties. Her pain gains purpose because it equips her to help someone else. Perhaps the greatest transformation happens when a woman realizes that her circumstances do not determine her identity. She may experience rejection, but she is not rejected. She may encounter failure, but she is not a failure. She may walk through loss, but she is not defined by what she has lost. Her identity remains rooted in her values, her purpose, and the person she is continually becoming. This understanding gives her incredible emotional stability because she no longer allows temporary situations to decide her worth. With every obstacle she overcomes, her confidence becomes quieter but stronger. She no longer fears difficult conversations because she has survived harder ones. She no longer panics when plans change because experience has taught her that new paths often lead to unexpected opportunities. She trusts herself more deeply because she has seen what perseverance can accomplish. Every challenge becomes another reminder that she is capable of far more than she once believed. An unstoppable woman does not wish for a life without problems. She strives to become the kind of person who can handle whatever problems life brings. She understands that storms do not arrive to destroy her, but to strengthen her roots. Every setback teaches resilience. Every disappointment builds wisdom. Every obstacle reveals hidden strength. And with each challenge she faces, she becomes calmer, more focused, and more prepared for the opportunities waiting beyond the struggle. That is why she continues moving forward with confidence, not because the journey is easy, but because every challenge has become another step in the remarkable process of becoming the trendy woman she was always meant to be. One of the greatest signs of maturity is realizing that your energy is limited. Every day, you wake up with a certain amount of emotional, mental, and physical energy, and how you choose to spend it determines the quality of your life. Many people believe success is simply about working harder or doing more. But unstoppable women understand something deeper. They know that protecting their energy is just as important as investing it. They recognize that if they allow every distraction, every argument, every unnecessary commitment, and every negative influence to consume their attention, they will have very little left for the things that truly matter. This is why calm women learn the power of boundaries. Boundaries are often misunderstood. Some people see them as walls that push others away. But healthy boundaries are actually bridges that protect what is valuable. They allow you to give your best to your purpose, your family, your career, and your personal growth without becoming overwhelmed by demands that were never yours to carry. A woman with strong boundaries is not selfish. She is responsible. She understands that she cannot pour from an empty cup, and the healthier she is emotionally, the more she can genuinely contribute to the people she loves. One of the biggest reasons people lose their peace is because they feel responsible for everyone's happiness. They say yes when they want to say no. They solve problems that others should solve themselves. They constantly seek approval, believing that if everyone around them is pleased, then they must be doing something right. But this way of living comes with a heavy cost. Over time, they become exhausted, frustrated, and disconnected from their own dreams. Calm women eventually realize that pleasing everyone is impossible. No matter how kind, generous, or capable you are, there will always be someone who misunderstands you or disagrees with your choices. Once you accept this truth, you become free to focus on living according to your values rather than according to other people's expectations. Protecting your energy also means choosing your battles wisely. Not every disagreement deserves your attention. Not every criticism deserves a response. Not every misunderstanding requires an explanation. There is tremendous strength in knowing when to remain silent. Silence is not a sign of weakness. Often, it is evidence of wisdom. A calm woman understands that arguing with someone who is determined not to understand only wastes valuable energy. Instead of reacting to every opinion, she focuses on what she can control: her actions, her attitude, and her integrity. Another important part of protecting your energy is becoming intentional about the people you see. Every relationship influences your mindset. Some people encourage growth, inspire hope, and challenge you to become better. Others constantly bring negativity, drama, or discouragement. An unstoppable woman pays close attention to these influences. She does not judge people harshly, but she understands that spending too much time in unhealthy environments can slowly shape her thinking. She chooses relationships built on trust, respect, honesty, and mutual encouragement because she knows that the people around her either strengthen her purpose or distract her from it. Protecting your energy also requires learning to rest without feeling guilty. Many people confuse rest with laziness, but they are not the same. Rest is preparation. It is the process of renewing your mind and body so that you can continue serving your purpose with excellence. A calm woman understands that constantly running without stopping eventually leads to burnout. She makes time for reflection, learning, quiet moments, meaningful conversations, and activities that restore her spirit. She knows that long-term success is built through sustainability, not constant exhaustion. Technology has also made protecting our attention more difficult than ever. Every notification competes for our focus. Every headline demands a reaction. Every social media post invites comparison. Without intentional habits, it is easy to spend hours consuming information that adds little value while neglecting the work that truly matters. Calm women become disciplined with their attention. They understand that where attention goes, energy follows. Instead of allowing the world to decide what deserves their focus, they intentionally choose the people, ideas, and activities that align with their goals and values. Another powerful habit is learning to forgive. Holding on to resentment drains emotional energy more than many people realize. Anger may feel justified, but carrying it day after day places a heavy burden on your own heart. Forgiveness does not excuse harmful behavior, nor does it mean forgetting what happened. It means choosing not to allow past pain to control your present life. By letting go of bitterness, an unstoppable woman creates space for peace, growth, and renewed purpose. She understands that the greatest gift of forgiveness is often the freedom it brings to the person who chooses it. Perhaps the most valuable energy a woman protects is the energy she gives to her own thoughts. Negative self-talk can become one of the greatest thieves of confidence. Constantly criticizing yourself, replaying mistakes, or believing you are not enough slowly weakens your spirit. Calm women replace destructive thoughts with truthful ones. They remind themselves that growth takes time, mistakes are opportunities to learn, and their worth is not determined by temporary failures. They choose thoughts that strengthen rather than diminish their ability to move forward. At the end of the day, being unstoppable is not about having endless energy. It is about using the energy you have with wisdom. It is about saying yes to what truly matters and having the courage to say no to what steals your peace. It is about protecting your mind from unnecessary negativity, your heart from constant resentment, and your time from distractions that lead nowhere. When a woman learns to guard her energy with intention, she discovers that peace becomes her strength, focus becomes her advantage, and purpose becomes her guide. She no longer feels the need to chase every opportunity or answer every critic. Instead, she walks confidently in the direction of her calling, knowing that the greatest achievements are built not by those who do everything, but by those who wisely protect what matters most. In a world where everyone seems to be competing for attention, the most influential women often stand out for a very different reason. They do not lead by being the loudest voice in the room. They lead through their presence. They do not need to dominate conversations, constantly prove themselves, or seek recognition for every achievement. Instead, they earn respect through consistency, integrity, and the quiet confidence that comes from living according to their values. This is the kind of leadership that leaves a lasting impact because it inspires others rather than simply impressing them. Many people believe leadership begins with a title, a position of authority, or a large audience. But true leadership starts long before any of those things. It begins with the way you treat people when no one is watching. It begins with the promises you keep, the honesty you demonstrate, and the example you set every single day. An unstoppable woman understands that leadership is not about having power over others. It is about taking responsibility for herself first. She knows that before she can positively influence the world around her, She must first develop the discipline to lead her own thoughts, emotions, habits, and actions. One of the most powerful qualities of a calm leader is consistency. Anyone can make a good impression once. Anyone can appear confident for a few moments. But people place their trust in those whose actions remain dependable over time. Calm women understand this. They realize that trust is earned slowly through repeated acts of honesty, kindness, reliability, and integrity. They do not make promises they cannot keep. They do not change their values to fit the opinions of the crowd. Their words and actions remain aligned, and that alignment becomes the foundation of their influence. Presence is another remarkable quality that separates true leaders from those who simply seek attention. Have you ever met someone who made you feel heard the moment they spoke with you? They were not checking their phone, interrupting your sentences, or thinking about what they wanted to say next. They were fully present. This kind of attention is rare in today's fast-paced world, yet it is one of the greatest gifts a person can offer. An unstoppable woman listens with genuine curiosity because she understands that people do not simply want advice. They want to feel understood. Her ability to be present creates trust, and trust creates influence. Leading through presence also means remaining steady during difficult times. When uncertainty arises, many people become overwhelmed by fear and panic. Their emotions spread quickly to those around them. Calm women choose a different path. They understand that leadership is tested most during moments of pressure. Instead of reacting impulsively, they pause, gather the facts, and make thoughtful decisions. Their calmness becomes contagious. It reassures others that challenges can be faced with wisdom rather than fear. This does not mean they have all the answers. It means they have developed the emotional stability to respond thoughtfully instead of reacting emotionally. Humility is another characteristic that strengthens quiet leadership. The strongest leaders are not those who pretend to know everything. They are the ones who remain willing to learn. An unstoppable woman welcomes feedback because she sees it as an opportunity to grow rather than as a personal attack. She celebrates the strengths of others instead of feeling threatened by them. She is confident enough to admit when she has made a mistake and courageous enough to correct it. This humility does not weaken her influence. It strengthens it because people naturally trust those who are honest and authentic. Quiet leadership is also built on service. Rather than asking, "How can people notice me?" calm women ask, "How can I make a positive difference?" Their focus shifts from personal recognition to meaningful contribution. Whether they are leading a family, a workplace, a community, or simply encouraging a friend, they look for ways to lift others up. They understand that the greatest leaders are remembered not because of how much attention they received, but because of how many lives they improved. One of the beautiful things about leading through presence is that it creates a ripple effect. Every act of patience encourages someone else to become more patient. Every act of kindness reminds someone that compassion still exists. Every moment of integrity inspires another person to choose honesty. Leadership is rarely about one dramatic moment. It is usually built through countless small decisions that quietly shape the culture around us. A calm woman recognizes that even her smallest actions have the power to influence the people she encounters each day. There will always be people who mistake quiet confidence for weakness because they have confused volume with strength. But history consistently shows that lasting influence belongs to those who lead with wisdom rather than ego. Calm women do not waste energy trying to convince everyone of their value. They allow their character to speak for itself. They know that respect cannot be demanded. It must be earned. Every challenge they handle with grace, every promise they keep, and every person they treat with dignity adds another layer to the reputation they are building. Ultimately, an unstoppable woman understands that leadership is not about standing above others. It is about walking alongside them with courage, compassion, and integrity. She inspires not because she seeks admiration, but because she consistently lives the principles she believes in. Her calm presence brings confidence during uncertainty. Her steady character builds trust over time. Her willingness to serve creates lasting influence. And long after words have been forgotten, people remember how she made them feel. Safe, respected, encouraged, and capable of becoming better themselves. That is the quiet power of true leadership. It does not demand attention. It earns it through a lifetime of consistent actions, unwavering values, and a heart committed to helping others rise. That is why calm women are truly unstoppable.